Hi, Heather Russell from Onward Endeavors. I hope you are doing well. I have received a few messages the last couple of days asking questions about how to shift one's mindset when, when you're having some negative thoughts, or maybe you're feeling really anxious, or you just know that you're obsessing over thoughts that really aren't helpful to you at any given moment. What are some things that you can do to kind of move yourself out of that particular phase? And so I realized that I haven't done a video in a little while. I've been super busy with my online work and my group clients. So I thought, okay, here's a perfect time for me to kind of answer those questions in this format. So I thought the best way is to share with you what I do, what works for me, and that way you can kind of take the idea and maybe tweak it a little bit and experiment and see what works for you. So typically what we find is that when we're having negative thoughts or we're feeling a lot of anxiety, our mind is focusing on particular thoughts that it really just can't come to a conclusion about, one that's satisfactory. And so what I find to be most helpful are three particular questions that I ask myself, and asking myself these questions interrupts my thought process and redirects my thoughts. And so if you know me, if you work with me, or if you follow me, you know that I love questions, and this is one of the reasons why I love questions so much, is because it brings a new thought into our minds. So whether someone is asking you the question or you're asking yourself the question, it's a great way to bring your attention, your focus, your mindset, your thoughts in a completely new direction. And that is always beneficial. So the first question that I ask myself, if I'm recognizing that I'm having a moment that might be leading me in an unproductive direction, I ask myself, what do I know? And as simple as that is, I have learned that most thoughts that I have, most thoughts that you have, most thoughts that exist are actually opinions. There's very few facts. So most of the things that we think we know are based on our opinions, our observations, our experiences, our belief system. And these things readily change from one person to the next. So when I ask myself, what do I know? It interrupts, all this that's going on in my brain, and it forces me to focus on identifying, okay, are there facts in here? Or is my mind swirling around a bunch of opinions, some assumptions, projections, like things that really don't have any official ending or clarity to them, and therefore are not helpful at all in any circumstance to think about. So asking myself, what do I know, always brings me to a point of center. Now, when you're first getting started, that may or may not be a helpful question for you. You might have to word it a little bit differently, but you can find a question that is, that conveys that same idea, that same sense of, wait a minute, what do I know to be true? What are the facts of this situation? And really push yourself for clarity on that, okay? So once I have established the answer to that question, then I move into asking myself, what is the most important outcome for me right now? So what that does is it brings me present. Quite often, if I am having a bad moment or obsessing over thoughts or feeling anxious, the most important thing for me at that moment is to be able to feel better, is to be able to collect myself, is to be able to prepare myself. Maybe I have work, or I have to take care of my daughter, or I have an appointment, and I need to be able to gather myself. So I identify what is the most important outcome for me right now, Or maybe it's a situation where I'm in a conversation with someone, but I'm getting anxious because of this conversation. And asking myself that second question it allows me to pause for a moment and say, wait a minute, like, am I just trying to be right? Am I trying to make a point? Is what's most important to me to be able to connect with this person and really hear what they have to say and understand their position? Like, what is it that I'm trying to do here? Okay, so answering that question also helps me eliminate a lot of unnecessary thoughts or feelings and just get to right here, right now. From there, once I have that, the third question I ask myself is, what can I do? So often those of us that find ourselves in moments of anxiety, uncertainty, or frustration, unpleasantness, obsessiveness, what we're doing is we're thinking about a lot of things that don't have answers, things that we can't control, and certainly at this particular point in time with where the world has been, and even where a lot of us that are in the United States right now are at, if we're parents and we're getting, the school year is resuming, there's a lot of questions that don't have answers. And so thinking about or focusing on those things leads us absolutely nowhere. So by asking myself, what can I do? It's another way of bringing me here and now to focus on actions that I can take, something that I actually can do something about. So I establish what I actually know. I establish what's most important to me right now, and what can I do? What are the actions that I can take right now? What's within my control? And as soon as I have done asked myself those three questions, I not only find that I'm in a calmer or more grounded place, but I also find that then I just move into action. I'm able to move forward. I am able to say, okay, this will come back to me later, and I'll ask myself these questions if I need to, or maybe I'll have a different perspective by that particular point in time. But right now, I'm going to move forward and I'm going to take action on the things that I know, the things that are most important to me, and the things that I can do. So that's what I do. Those are some simple ways that you can redirect or have a mind shift and kind of move you from some negative thoughts to more positive ones. Hope you find that helpful. As always, I would love to hear from you. Comments, also questions. I love questions. And overall, I appreciate you and I hope you have a great day.